counts. We'll load in here to start the operator ban phase, which a number of viewers and a number of players might actually be more familiar with because of that road to the Invitational.
Oh, I played at least 10 hours of the playlist over the weekend, and I just wish it was on the whole time. It's so much fun. So much fun, because now people can see exactly why professional teams like this format, exactly why we love watching it and casting it, because it seems very intuitive nowadays. And there you go, Monty and Thatcher talking about shield play.
Thatcher is very interesting. His ban rate was not that high, and every time we see him banned, it's usually Oregon. So obviously this is going to enable your mute play, this is going to enable your bandit play, and actually puts a lot of pressure on OrgLess here to possibly respond with a counter ban of their own. Because Thatcher is off the board, you know that if you're not bringing a Twitch, or if you can't control piano, that breach denial is going to be exceedingly powerful now, because your best tool as an attacker, Thatcher, is gone. I would imagine, given how long it's taken OrgLess to be able to decide what to do here,
mute, yeah, makes
they
sense.
had to respond.
100%.
And you take mute out because he's got a higher pick rate than bandit right now. Thatcher also counters the mute jammers that when you're defending basement or upstairs can reach that main floor. So that's a smart pick. And like I said, it took OrgLess quite a while to come up with that ban. And they, from my perspective, probably unprepared for what DarkZero threw at them. Ends up being a pretty good choice, all things considered. And with Echo, Band, and Mute being the other one, that means both Mira and Maestro are still available, and the Valkyrie as well.
Yeah, we say it often. I think Kix as well highlights it, especially when I'm around with him. We talk about the Mira ban on Consulate, and it's just, she's always a good operator. She always has a bonus to give you. But it seems like Consulate is the map where she doesn't get to shine as much as other maps. So taking her as the band operator instead of an Echo, a Maestro, or in this case the Mute to counter the Thatcher wouldn't make much sense. So I like the reply from OrgLess. It makes a lot of logical sense. We'll see if that actually ends up working for them. The bonus that they have, obviously, is that Maestro is available, which is going to be a huge deal for a lot of teams, especially on this first defense upstairs in the console office, just because those evil eyes can do so much work. Now, DarkZero actually bring the Thermite, which I really have to disagree on in this situation. Sure, you might be expecting Garage to the first site, which would make sense why you would go for the Thermite. However, due to the fact that most of the time, if you're playing on this map, you're going to be attacking the top floor via admin or yellow stairs.
5 seconds left before
it might be better to just bring the Habana because she offers you a bit more flexibility compared to the Thermite, which in this case, if you want to go for an admin take, it's not impossible. You should just not do it because you need to open up that wall that my man was just looking at to try and contest the player that is sitting inside of the projector. And I'm also surprised that there's no Blackbeard in this situation, but again, it might just be because DarkZero are not really expecting the site to be the first one to go for it.
It's also worth noting for DarkZero that a Thermite is pretty commonplace on their operator lineup, and it's obviously very map dependent because you'll end up with certain maps having a Habana just out of sheer necessity. Thermite obviously is always a good pick, or rather, not always a good pick, but Habana I would say is probably the more versatile pick. 100%. But on Consulate, Thermite is always a good pick. It doesn't really matter what site it is. You want to be able to have that hard destruction because Consulate has those long walls that a Thermite charge opens up quite effectively. So, as for the rest of DarkZero, instead of going with the Capitao, they're going to be running just a single set of smokes on hot and cold side of things with the Jackal, which is very helpful for a console office push, especially if you can use those smokes to cut off connector and then just have somebody there to cover. I would imagine that you're likely going to see Jarvis probably do something down below on that main floor, but he was positioned up top, at least for the time being, just to open up that closet wall. Not too far off of where Yeti, the Jaeger, is playing on yellow stairs.
That makes a lot of sense for DarkZero to enter through the yellow stairs and try to contest any players that are downstairs or even on the ground floor, just because going for an admin take whilst having that Thermite is very difficult. Hanako actually takes down Yeti, and Brian is fairly low on health in the back of the smoke. So they get tagged fairly low, and this is a big loss for you if you're OrgLess, because now you kind of have to let go of those yellow stairs, which are already a very strong position for you. A position we've seen a lot of smokes doing a lot of work in, but you see how far away the smoke is just playing in a projector. This is a very powerful position you'll have to forfeit, and Nix, what a shot.
That's an absolutely incredible one, and DarkZero will add to that with Mint picking off of a man, leaving OrgLess with 2 bodies inside of projector. I mean, Acid is so low that it's not going to take all that much to be able to eliminate the Maestro. Jarvis coming very close to cooking a grenade, just to open up the wall, try to give himself an advantage all the way on over into that projector room. bit surprised that DarkZero isn't making more of a concerted effort here, but with 40 seconds, you get the diffuser down. The Maestro's going to push all the way up. Nyx is there, still holding connector with a great angle. You've seen that Crazy's drop down below. So obviously using the drop hatch that was available, and you won't get too far as Mint is holding Zulu down below. And has a great angle to those stairs, cuts off the flank, and when you have 5 bodies still up, and there's only 1 or 2 left, it's the major advantage that you can get. DarkZero will take the very first round here on Consulate.
And again, it all comes down to you as a defender. Can you hold on to yellow stairs? Yes. If the answer is yes, you have a pretty good chance of winning. If the answer is no, it's going to be difficult because you saw there the instant yellow was lost, it allowed for great control of any rotations. You can just walk in, go for a plant. The wall was not completely reinforced from yellow stairs into the console chamber, so it's very easy to go for a plant there, pretty safe. There's not enough manpower available to support you in that situation. And of course, the most important part, that connector room is completely open for the attackers to contest the instant you try to move from projector into it. And you forfeit so much map control because of it. Most teams go for an admin take in this case, but I have to applaud DarkZero's ability to just completely change things and open things up by taking down the Jaeger, losing that on yellow stairs. Huge, huge pick. And of course, the second one being the smoke getting tagged extremely low on health, which forced them back, and Brian could not use a shotgun in CQC. And when you can't do that, guess what? You lose out on your biggest advantage in that situation.
The biggest issue was just your loss of control on yellow stairs. The moment that you lost yellow, which is what happened actually quite early on, from OrgLess' side of things, they could not recover in any way. And basically left the few remaining members of the team sequestered over on in projector with nowhere to go. You had the ACOG in the hands of the Maestro, but he was so low on HP that he couldn't take the risk to peek out and try to engage in a fight. Because basically, he gets hit anywhere, and he's down. And then you also lose control of those Evil Eyes as well with him. So you have to make that decision. Do I go for frags knowing that it's a 5v2 and we're trapped? Or do I simply possibly try and use my utility? Didn't really matter though, because even if they had gotten 1 or 2 key picks, it still would have been a numbers advantage in OrgLess' side of things, or in DarkZero's side of things, and OrgLess had lost control of the site, and the plant going off from DarkZero as well obviously hurt OrgLess' ability to retake. So, with that said, we saw a dedicated push onto yellow stairs and onto console office. Given the fact that it was so successful, I'm a bit surprised that DarkZero won't go back in the same direction, but it's an admin take this time. So DZ is taking complete control of the top floor on the eastern side. They'll begin their assault likely on that long desk. You've got drones being stashed here so that you don't need to commit somebody from DZ onto flank watch. As Nyx positions one of his drones on top of the vending machine to give him a great line of sight all the way down to the desk at the end of the hall.
You know what I'm surprised by? There's no Maestro camera at the end of that hallway, which you probably should have, just because not only does it allow you to snipe any drones, but it also allows you to easily snipe any utility put on the wall. And Brian actually shuts down Hot and Cold, who's playing, oh no, that's the Diffuser on the balcony. That is a huge kill up there.
Not just Diffuser on the balcony, but your only set of smokes as well gone. Those are 2 very important distinctions to make about that kill from Brian, and I'm not certain what Hot and Cold was thinking, trying to engage in that regard. Also, not really sure what I was thinking from Brian getting that aggressive as well. A bit outside of the ordinary, though Brian has a bit of a flair as a player to get a little brazen with his shots. Final minute now, and the Diffuser being just out of reach, but Nyx is going to walk in. There's no coverage from long desk. 2 bodies, or possibly be able to push on in as Crazy was in the bathroom, and yet he was on yellow stairs, but nobody stops to see Nyx at all. And Diffuser retrieved on the balcony from Pojo. This is great position for DC right now, especially if they can cut off the cross from the end of the hall.
Yeah, Pojaman allowed to move through. And of course, the Axe allowed to get a free kill. Jarvis will get one, as well as Mint. And yet again, OrgLess on the back foot. Lesion's goo mines have all been shut down. And Yeti is going to try to find the leg of Pojaman here. Is actually barely pushed up, and he'll find 1 kill. Pojaman is still low on health, and Yeti pushes up. He'll find 2 kills off of it. He turns into 1v1. Mint on his own on the AQ, but Yeti trying to decide if he goes for the Diffuse or not. You see the AQ on the outside, holding by the spiral staircase, but Yeti does not know that. We'll try to peek on the outside. He find the AQ, but no, Mint will grab the kill and find the headshot. That's all it took. DarkZero, the beautiful execution, came very close for OrgLess to retake, but again, it's the post-plant positioning when you're afforded so much time to put yourself in these spots. DarkZero utilizes every second.
Yet he was trying to take his time at the top of Spiral, not obviously knowing where Mint was playing. He had a sinking suspicion that he would be on Spiral stairs, and given the fact that there's no bullet penetration whatsoever on those metal railings, then it's obviously a great spot for somebody to play on, especially when you have an ACOG on your side like Mint did. That one flank drone that was established on the top of the vending machine gave Yeti's position away, though, as Yeti peeked out from long desk, which is why you saw Yeti get very aggressive, because he knew at that point he'd been given up. It was do or die. And Mint had every single thing going for him. He had the positioning, he had the information, he had the diffuser down. You waste enough time, even if Yeti gets the kill, it ends up being impactless because you still win the round on time alone. Really awesome play by DarkZero there to be able to take control and set themselves up for success in the post plant by also having those flank drones established, as I mentioned. Those went a long way. So it's 2 in a row for DarkZero now. Both times they got the diffuser down, despite the fact that the diffuser was dropped in the Lion's Den on that balcony. And it was a great recovery. Really just hinged upon Nick sprinting in, killing Brian, and then sprinting right back out. He got in, got the kill, got out. Nobody was there to cover it. It falls a little bit on OrgLess and their communication or lack thereof, because you almost always want somebody to be playing in a position where they can try and command long desk all the way down towards printer and admin, which is where Nick's was situated. Because of that lack of coverage essentially means that the person playing inside of the projector, the bomb site that is commonly known as meeting room, though we call it projector, is essentially a dead man if he gets pushed from more than one angle at a time. That's exactly what happened to Brian. I am glad, though, that OrgLess isn't going to go back upstairs to the console office. Yes. So they'll go downstairs to garage, which without a Thatcher, without a mute, would be very interesting. But OrgLess is just going to give up the ghost. There's no hard breach denial whatsoever on OrgLess' side. They don't have a bandit. Obviously, Kaid is not in yet. And then a mute is banned. So they're just going to give up that garage wall completely for free. And I don't know if DarkZero is going to read into that, but Pojo could make quick work of those panels.
Yeah, and here's the thing, though. If you're DarkZero, oh no, Nick's will find the first kill. Just standing on his own in the window, just pushing the man into him. Here's the thing: when you don't have anybody to fight the attackers in piano, there's no point in you really bringing that bandit. However, look at the time. That wall is completely being opened in the garage at the 2-minute mark. It's all open. That is insane when it comes to timing. And obviously it makes a lot of sense. Why? Well, mute's banned, and bandit's also not open. So OrgLess completely forfeit that to have other operators to play in this situation, but losing the Legion early on will definitely hurt, as they can't really slow down that attack from DarkZero.
What we find with a lot of teams that do this at such a fast pace is that there's a bit of a propensity to stall out and not really be able to get your footing after that, because you're going to realize that once those panels are open, your defenders are going to play a little bit farther back and set up to stop the plant rather than play aggressively as if the doors were closed. That's exactly what your C4s are going to be able to do. Now, mind you, there's only one C4 on the board from Crazy. It really depends on where the Pulse is going to be playing, and you don't really want him in harm's way because his device, that cardiac sensor, is going to be so vital to keeping your team in the hunt here.
Yeah, like how the Maestro cameras were taken out. If you were wondering why did Nyx use his breaching charge on the floor, that's why the splash damage on the Ashe breaching charge is more than enough to destroy the Maestro camera. It is wider than the one that Zofia has, so you have to keep that in mind, as Ashe is usually being brought more often, especially to deal with the Maestro.
Now, if the IQ of Mint has breaching charges on his kit, does not, I would say he could make life living hell for OrgLess here inside of Piano. That's likely where Jarvis is going to want to go, but Pojo will get down, getting picked back up from Nyx. Oh, Acid above, beautiful double play to take out both the planter and one of DarkZero's strongest assets, the Ashe on their team. It's going to leave DarkZero now to have to push on in, but they're going to have limited utility. They've got maybe one frag grenade left from Jarvis, and the set of smokes from Houghton have already been exhausted. But Jarvis is all out of frag grenades. So this is just going to be a straight-up slugfest, as both teams will need their best pugilists here in the fight. All the information will be going in OrgLess' favor, though. They just need to wait and greet everybody from DarkZero. Acid with 3 kills, he gets rewarded. Hot and Cold pulls out the shotgun. And Crazy, far back, will need to help. But nobody has the diffuser. It's dropped far away, and what a misplay from DarkZero, who made the call with 30 seconds to go. Let's grab the frags, and it ends up being their undoing. OrgLess just waits out the clock, and they take the round because of it.
Yep. The kill there on yellow stairs as the attacker was trying to vault over and go into a better position to go for the plant and be in a protected spot, while unfortunately on the cross gets shot. And yeah, unfortunately, that's where kind of things stopped there for DarkZero. You mentioned they were focused on the kills. OrgLess sitting in the back, having the pulse at the end. He can just sit himself back and well, wait until anybody pushes into him. And at that point, you're not going to push yourself outside until you know that that diffuser has been set.
Attackers need
Once
to
it
locate
is,
and defuse
then
bombs.
you will have to maneuver and try to fight your opponent. Until then, just sit back and wait. You have to plan your moves basically at that point. But now we're in round number 4, and with that
Bomb
site
located
won,
by attackers.
it means that OrgLess will have to go for a new one, and they are going for a lobby. What's the thing about lobby? You still have to hold on to that top floor effectively. I'm pretty curious to see how OrgLess do that. You see Acid, what does he do? He breaks down the glass before putting down his Evil Eye. We said it before, we'll say it again. Do that, because if you don't,
5 seconds.
anybody can shoot that glass on the side and it instantly breaks the Evil Eye, no matter the utility. Basically just a couple bullets.
Attackers
But here,
objective
the
is
biggest
to
change for
defuse the bomb.
DarkZero is Pojoman bringing the Habana. Why? They're expecting the stake from the top floor, and this might be reaching for an admin take.
It really depends on the window as well, though, because when you put down that Evil Eye cam, a lot of times it will break the window, similar to how Jaeger can put down his ADS, and it will often break the window as well. It really just depends. It just seems to be a lack of consistency on some of the glass on those windows, because sometimes you can just shoot around it, as you very wisely pointed out. So obviously that's something that really goes site by site here. Anywho, wasting no time, Nyx, within 30 seconds, has been able to take control of the bottom floor and is in towards the cafeteria. He's going to catch my man. The Pulse is trying to get away, doesn't expect somebody to be there, and Nyx just flew in on his own. Didn't even look like there was any drone work being done. I don't even know if he shot the cam, as his assault now continues. Heading on over towards the spiral stairs. He's got Pojoman giving him the calls as DarkZero have switched off of the Thermite and instead headed with the Habana here. Crazy running the dock, and there will be no Ella on OrgLess' side of things, so they will not be anticipating that kind of gadgetry. Acid as well, as you mentioned, that Maestro can be so pivotal in this round. With that Alda, he was able to pick up 3 very large frags on the previous round. Well, very similar to round number 1. Acid is on flashing HP already, and we're not even halfway through this round.
It's not like the dock can really help him in this position. He's playing solo in the bathroom with most walls reinforced, and the dock is being used to actually provide overwatch for him on the hatch from the console office. So it's a good strategy. Unfortunately, in this position, you kind of leave a big asset of yours all on his own, where you can't really provide any support. Nyx is actually taking control of the back spiral stairs. Oh no, hot and cold, finding the kill with the support of Jarvis on a Yeti. And that's a run out that is not gonna work out. Pretty much no information except for just the repel.
Pretty common for a lobby to get that aggressive, but Jarvis picks up a freebie on the Acid. Not much left. Brian, a counter punch. Brian's there for 2 with the SMG-11 up top. Onto the balcony, an excellent job to eliminate both Pojo and Hot and Cold. Taking the smokes off the board for a lobby take, which is crucial for the defenders to be able to hold off on.
Attackers have recovered their
This is going to be a problem as Jarvis gets down and will get finished off as Brian throws out one of those toxic canisters. That's a 3-piece for Brian so far in this round. He'll look to try to hold off Nyx, but Nyx, being at 3-speed, able to retreat off of those Visa stairs back down towards the main lobby. There is no control from above. This will be a huge thorn in the side of DarkZero as the clock continues to tick down. But there go Mint and Nyx. They'll go upstairs fighting for frags. I think that's the right call. 20 seconds and not a lot of time left to work with. Sees 3 ACOGs on the board, looking for frags. Oh, Mint almost missing his shots on the Crazy, but Brian realizes he just needs to get out of dodge. The smoke will run as far away as he can, but getting marks from the Evil Eyes. This is a great position for Brian, but the numbers favor DarkZero, and they just need to hold off as the smoke tries to get on in. Diffuser goes down for the 3rd time in 4 rounds here, and DarkZero will evacuate the site, leaving nobody even close to being on premises. Brian, keep in mind, has every single kill, but he'll be shut down on 3 as Mint cleans up and DarkZero takes their 3rd and 4 rounds. Diffuser down every time, and a really good recovery and a great call from DarkZero to go frag hunting upstairs rather than try to pull off the plant with danger looming above.
And that's the thing, DarkZero, once they get that plant down, it's all over. This is what the pattern we're settling into is. And the one time in Garage, there was no time. They weren't able to ferry that diffuser to a correct position and go for the plant after it. And so this is the spot you're left in. OrgLess not really able to rely too much on team play. You saw the run out from the Jaeger just losing players early on in positions they should not be in. There's baits that are being used, how, for example, the Maestro being put in the bathroom, having the overwatch of the dock above him in the hatch. it's not being used effectively to ferry the attackers in, because I honestly don't think OrgLess were expecting the push to keep coming from the yellow stairs. They weren't expecting, okay, we spotted Habana, maybe they're going to go for admin. That's what I said early on. Well, none of that happened. They just tried to go in and plant after it and just completely eliminate any strategy that you had of defending it in phases. As nowadays, the defenders are either getting super aggressive to counter any play, or peeling off bit by bit, off of different positions, top floor, bottom floor, whatever it may be, in order to waste as much time as possible. And we saw that even with EU games, and I think both you and Kix put that very eloquently. It's just, nowadays, it's not like the defense has, how do you say, gotten more aggressive because that's how the meta is. It's just, there is so much in terms of information operators that I think people have realized, if we can find those picks early on, it propels us so much forward within the round, and this is why you've seen this change. However, that is not something OrgLess have been doing, as they seem to be playing more passively and into what DarkZero have prepared for them.
Which is almost the polar opposite of OrgLess as a team typically likes to play. They play very aggressively, they challenge angles and take fights that a lot of teams don't usually make, though it has become more commonplace over the last little while. One thing that surprises me the most about OrgLess is not so much their hesitation and their passiveness, but how little opportunity they have taken to bring these intel gathering operators. Kix is called information meta.
Yep.
Because the top 5 most banned defenders all have one thing in common, which is that their gadgets empower the use of team coordination and team synergy by giving information to the rest of your team. OrgLess running the Evil Eyes in Maestro is smart. They also have a pulse available, but they don't have a ton of knowledge on their side. Now, they don't really need that much knowledge when Nyx just storms right on in and gets killed. A feast or famine style way that the Ashe main has been playing. My man, once again, will be the first casualty for OrgLess, so both teams will find themselves at 4 operators. But Brian had taken a tiny bit of damage from that frag grenade, got tossed down from Jarvis on the yellow skylight, so advantage in favor of DarkZero for the time being. And they've used pretty good time management here, with 90 seconds eclipsed, 90 seconds to go, exactly halfway through.
Yeah, the dark side of the moon, as they would say. DarkZero in the meantime. Oh no, Brian, no, peeks out right into hot and cold. He gets shot down by the Jackal. Smokes have already been used. This might signal the push as Pocho Man gets one more. Yeti on the cross, on his own, he'll find one kill on hot and cold. Diffuser's being set in the back, but Pocho Man is ready for him, and the usual heart breacher is gonna get C4'd, yes! Crazy will connect, 2v1. No nitro cell left, a minute on the clock. There should be 1 grenade left for Jarvis, and will get tossed. It'll do a bit of damage to the Bandit. Mint in the back, and you can't really spot where the Bandit is in this position, as the drone is being ferried in here by Mint, just to have an idea, and he'll spot him from below. The drone is spotted and is not taken down. It's Crazy has to be very cautious. He'll find the headshot on Mint, take him out. He has control of yellow stairs for now. He knows that Jarvis just moved right into those CEO chambers. It's all up to Crazy to do this. Should have information on the plant, and it is going down right before the reinforced wall. Her fire into the bucket. Less damage done to Jarvis, and actually down him and take him out. Crazy with a beautiful clutch, using every single advantage to his side, and he knows the plant's going behind the reinforced wall. Uses it to his advantage. Usually teams will reinforce that soft wall that you saw in the hallway. Well, in this case, OrgLess were ready, and they put up the second round on the board.
Good read, great play from Crazy to retake there, but also pretty common spot for that to be played, and exactly what Crazy goes off of. I mean, you see on so many occasions that a defender will pre-fire a very common spot held by somebody, and it just won't go anywhere because they've played a bit more strategically. But Jarvis on the buck, you're going to probably play close angles. I would wager that he had the skeleton key primed and ready to be able to take out the Bandit, but Crazy played it better. And they walk away with their very first victory, or OrgLess walks away with their very first victory on console upstairs. Amazingly still, that through 5 rounds, DarkZero has gotten that diffuser down 4 times.
Attackers need
It's
to locate
very
and defuse as
uncommon
many
with the
bombs
way
as
that
they
we
can.
are currently seeing defenders and attackers play, that diffusers even get planted more than a couple times a single game.
Bomb located by attackers.
The fact that it's gone down in 4 of the 5 rounds is a testament to, number 1, DarkZero's cohesion to be able to get in, control enough of the site that for 7 seconds, when you are most vulnerable, you are still capable of planting that diffuser without there being any disruption from the defense, but also puts a lot of blame on OrgLess's ability to shut that down. And in particular, somebody who's had a dreadfully bad game, my man. He's yet to find the scoreboard. He's been the opening frag on a number of rounds and plays typically a very crucial operator to holding the defense together to give information to his team, especially when he's playing on Pulse. And when you are playing on Pulse and you have that cardiac sensor and a C4 in your hands, you're typically going to be one of the first lines of defense against a plant. Losing that early on, not just in terms of fragging potential, but that utility, that's a big part of why DZ has been able to get that diffuser down as often as they have.
Yeah, and look at it this way. You're playing Legion, you were playing Pulse. You get killed within the first minute of the game, you lost just one of your best operator for the late game. That's a late game operator. The more time you give those operators to stay alive, the more difficult it's going to be for you. And of course, that's credit to DarkZero's ability to eliminate such crucial operators and find the opportunity when it is presented. And the problem is, OrgLess are presenting it way too often, and DarkZero just capitalizing whenever they can. Well, see, so far the OrgLess rounds have been all up to basically game sense for victory, as team cohesion has not been as present as you're seeing on DarkZero. But still, at the 6th round, the last one in this half, DarkZero actually tried for an attack from the backside. Crazy will find one on Mint. He takes down the AQ in this situation, which is going to make things a bit more complicated to deal with any battery equipment that OrgLess have brought. But this push might just come in from the back and be fairly functional, actually a pinch into the site.
I have to suspect that Mint was probably solo up there and did not have a drone with him, as most of the drones are probably concerned with this right now, which is a push. But instead of planting, Pojo Man is just in. There's no one on site. Take a gander across both A and B, and DZ is shutting OrgLess out right now. There's still over a minute left to play, and my man and Crazy are both helplessly up top. 3 members of DarkZero with Pojo holding the diffuser, and it looks like they will go for yet another plant on DZ's side of things. Evil Eyes will at least facilitate some information being handed over to OrgLess, but both Crazy and my man will have to retake completely blind, as now the information is completely gone. Expecting a play inside of servers, that's where Crazy my man will look, but Pojo holding the doorway, guarding his diffuser like a mother guards her nest. His drivers will finish things off, and DarkZero, absolutely impressive comeback from that previous round, and they'll take the first half 4-2. And like I said, 5 diffusers down in 6 rounds. That's a number that you don't see all that often.
Yeah, I have to say, that's some pretty good Goga play from Pojo Man. It has been, I have to say, I'm extremely impressed with the way that DarkZero realized that, okay, well, we opened the front, let's just engage them from both angles and capitalize on the fact that the defenders, you mentioned it actually a couple of rounds ago when we were on Garage, you said once the attackers open up the wall early on, even at that 2-minute mark, for example, what happens usually is the defense always plays in the back, and they're expecting you to walk in from that position, they'll hold yellow stairs, etc. Well, that's exactly the reaction from OrgLess. What did DarkZero do? Completely blindside them and push into the back part of the site. And once you go in there, you're not expecting that as OrgLess, and DarkZero able to shut you down. Fantastic bit of mind game on the final round, which is probably a round that OrgLess were not expecting to go that way at all. Pretty excited to see more of these sorts of plays from DarkZero, and look at that. In the first round on the defense for DZ, they'll bring Nyx on the Clash, which we've been seeing more and more plays of. She hasn't received, again, her change just yet to turn her SMG. Yeah, tomorrow we'll see that change, and her SMG will be a fully automatic machine gun, but it still doesn't really matter that much, as if you're looking for frags constantly with Clash, you're pretty much playing her.
I mean, most teams in Pro League at this level will use Clash in a very particular and secure sort of setup where she'll sit at the back of the site, or she might hold off a certain angle that you use quickly to to try to take the site. I mean, admin is very risky for a Clash, but it does give her the ability to back up because she will be backing up into an area where you know she's going to be protected.
Yellow stairs would make also a ton of sense in this situation as well for the defense, but
yellow stairs in particular, because the only real way to get her out at that point is to throw a frag grenade, and likely if your defense is running a Jaeger, which DarkZero is in Mint, then you have 1 or 2 ADSs up there that can possibly keep her alive. For OrgLess, the only other thing that could do any real damage would be a set of frags in my man's hands. That's really it. So OrgLess doesn't have the utility to be able to take care of the Clash all that well. And I think reading into the fact that OrgLess is going to be attacking from the console office side of things, completely foregoing any admin control, DZ made the right call to move Nyx on over to the console office side of things. Though, it's a bit confusing that it's Nyx on the Clash when he's usually so good at getting frags. You'd figure it would be one of the other supporting players.
Very true. But we'll see what DarkZero have cooked up for us in this round. It's always interesting to see a lot of strategy play that the squad brings. And you see even holes that have been opened up in the wall here, the softball, into the CEO.
A bomb has been located.
Or the console chamber. And you also see a bulletproof camera that is set next to it. I believe Pojaman, there you go. He was bringing it as well, so they can deal with any pushes from the window. I'm not sure if they lost that with a grenade, and indeed they did. So Pojaman will have to fall back. The perfect grenade timing for my man to take him out.
And an excellent flush out there on the one player that could have really helped keep the Clash alive. Now, one thing also to keep in mind with the way this Clash is playing, is Hot and Cold picks up a big frag, looks for a second, he's going to get it, but there's another body! All of OrgLess right now are apparently coming towards the yellow stairs, but trying to smoke them out is Hot and Cold. Will peek on up, he's going to take down Crazy and pick up a second as he gets what little was left of my man. It's 2 big kills. OrgLess realizing they're just going to go for broke, as it looks to be a double entry in through this window. A C4 gets tossed out, but it's a bit too early as Brian loses a lot of HP. Jarvis finished off, and Nyx will need to be able to give this information to Hot and Cold. The 2 family members trying to keep everybody in play. Oh! And who knows that you need those changes? Nyx does it. Diffuser goes down for OrgLess, and right as that happens, it's Nyx who sheathes the shield and unsheaths the SMG. And even though it's not fully auto yet, it doesn't need to be for Nyx to be able to land 2 incredible kills with his cousin celebrating in the background. That's 5-2 for DarkZero.
Just give him any operator at this point. Frag operator. Clash is a frag operator, right? It's common knowledge. Beautiful play, I have to say, in that situation. Even with the round turning more and more to OrgLess' side, as the control slipped away from DarkZero over on the yellow stairs, it was all down to the smoke being able to delay, because what did OrgLess think in that situation? We have to plant, and we also have to contest the smoke. It's going to take a while for the Clash to be able to fight us. And well, the instant they looked away, Nyx found the half second where he could capitalize on his position. And who did he go for first? He killed the man that was watching the angle, and then he went for the defuse planter. That was very well done, just spamming his entire magazine into him and shut down OrgLess in that situation. With that site 1, however, DarkZero will go down to the garage, and Mira is available for play, but DarkZero will opt out of it to bring Mint on the Vigil. So we'll see a sort of roam play that the operator allows. Interesting is that in other regions, LATAM and even EU nowadays, I'm seeing a lot of Finca being played. Not really the case in this matchup. Maybe later today, I'm interested. I saw Mav actually, when I'm casting this with Michael Kicks just a few days ago. Mav from NIP, Wag from NIP specifically, what he brought was Finca, and having her as flank hold all the way in Visa later on in the round, and using her in the back as a support operator, watching flank, and giving boosts to her teammates as well to allow them to get aggressive when they actually want to push onto a site or contest one of the roamers. So it's a pretty interesting dynamic of how people have been able to figure out certain operators as we head deeper into this metagame.
Also like the flexibility that DarkZero brings as well. I know that we talk a lot about EG and Rogue, 2 of the most well-established teams, having great flexibility on their rosters, but DarkZero is also a team that has it too. So you can see it on both attack and on defense. All the different tools that can be brought from DarkZero. You saw it on Pojo playing Castle with Hot and Cold on Smoke, and Nyx off of a traditional fragging roll. Just that kind of thing that a lot of teams will be able to bring, and it speaks to the strength of a coaching staff. It speaks to the strength of the team itself in regards to the skill of each player, and with both Bacon and BC helping run the show for DarkZero, it doesn't really surprise me here. Now, we still got at least 2 rounds to play, and this does not look like the OrgLess that we've seen over the last couple play days. They look a little bit more timid, they don't look as well coordinated, and that disjointedness that comes on their defense has translated somewhat to their attack. Especially that play on yellow stairs. 3 bodies peeking aggressively on yellow stairs with a Jaeger at the top of it. If that had been read better, by Mint. He could have possibly walked away with 3 very easy kills with limited refrag potential from OrgLess and could have turned what was a quick round for DarkZero into an even faster one.
Yeah, so speaking all in, Glass, and he'll find one player in the back, but only hit Pojoman down to 50% health. He spots his hand on the opposite end as Crazy will find one on Jarvis from above. Smoke's going to get thrown into the back as there's no ADS here to protect from that throw. And Acid will actually opt out of this slower playstyle and just move uphill down the Legion and take him out. But the PMM, she's back as Pojoman will find him. Yeti will take down Mitten as this puts it all on Pojoman. The mana was tagged early on. I'll have to clutch this round. He gets 1 kill, 3 more to go. Crazy's already on the floor. Shotgun's in hand. Pojoman trying to use the smoke to his advantage here. He's trying to cover for himself. OrgLess are still not in position for this. It takes 5 seconds or 7 seconds to get that diffuser taken out. But Yeti comes in and cleans up Pojoman. Unfortunately, it was all prepared by OrgLess for them to basically protect the diffuser from outside. And because of that position, DarkZero will not really able to do much against it.
And yet again, another diffuser goes down. So pretty remarkable in that case. I feel like I spoke way too soon off of the whole OrgLess isn't playing aggressive, because OrgLess played exceedingly aggressive there on that round, taking out, what, was it 3 frags with 50 seconds still left on the clock? Yeah. That's a lot of early action. And DarkZero also played quite aggressively. They tried to take the fight to OrgLess. It didn't work out all that well. And it's kind of funny because for a long period of time, when they competed under a number of different org names, DarkZero were known for being kind of wild, especially on defense. Pulling things out on sites that people aren't used to seeing, hinging upon strategies that a lot of people aren't expecting. Wasn't really the case there on the garage, and things went very well according to plan for OrgLess. They took out Jarvis. Depending on what the Bandit had in hand, that could have been the only C4 that was available for DarkZero, which means that most of your plant deny is gone at that point outside of the smoke, which is being played by Pojoman. So, leaving Pojo in an almost unwinnable situation in a 1v5. I think it was a 1v4 there at the end. And then he ended up getting the 1 kill that was going down from Brian on the diffuser, but it ended up being all for naught. Now, we mentioned this DarkZero's flexibility last round in particular, and well, the 3rd defense for DZ, and it's the 3rd person on the team to play the smoke. Originally, it was hot and cold, then it went to Pojo, now it's going to mid. Whereas things for OrgLess tend to be quite similar. A man is going to play either that Sledge or that Buck. Crazy off of the IQ, but he'll frag well onto an Ash. And then everything else for OrgLess just seems pretty normal. Lots of utility. You've got a Glaz as well, just to try and lock the site down. Obviously, this will be a major focal point, as the site is lobby. So not another garage defense for DarkZero, even though that they could go back down there. They're going to hinge this round, which would push them onto a match point on that first floor. I think it's the right call to make, given the way that OrgLess didn't look the most comfortable attacking that 2nd floor, and so much of a lobby take is going to involve the way that you attack that 2nd floor, that this could end up proving to be quite beneficial for DC.
All right. Well, admin has been taking control here by OrgLess, so my man is going to continue to drone for himself. He's going to be careful any pushes that come in from DarkZero potentially to deal with this position, but OrgLess have control of all of this, and we mentioned it so many times. Yeah, you're attacking. In this case, OrgLess, you're attacking that bottom floor while you still have to take control of the top floor. Makes a ton of sense. Crazy up on the western wall, and can't really find anyone on the opposite. Then, and as I just say that, actually, Hot and Cold gets taken out. Not only is it the Valkyrie, but also, more importantly, Nitro Cell removed, and top floor control is going to be reduced here for DZ.
I don't know if this is simply Crazy getting droned in or him making these plays on his own, but being the first person to get the kill now for a number of rounds for OrgLess bodes well for the rest of their team. Crazy is somebody who's been developing into an extraordinarily strong player, and he's just putting in great work here. Speaking of great work, Yeti as well as Acid able to pick up where Pojo is playing behind that overturned desk, upstairs in Projector, which is a big problem for DarkZero. And especially so, since 2 members of DarkZero still remain above. Both Mint and Nyx were playing that 2nd floor, leaving Jarvis as the only man down below. If we don't see DarkZero rotate soon enough, that could be a huge issue for OrgLess, or it could be a huge issue for DarkZero that OrgLess capitalizes on.
Yeah, and saw how that long desk is completely blown out. DarkZero were getting ready to fight anybody that goes through there, but because of that manpower loss, It's not going to be easy anymore. And of course, with 2 players left, Mint so low on HP, they're going to have to fall back into yellow stairs. Now, interesting is that Nyx will go through the rotation all the way around, but he does get spotted on a pre-placed drone. And the Zofia will try to contest, but he'll win it out and find the headshot on Yeti. But so little HP left for DarkZero. The Buck is watching from above as Brian will go in for the plant and Acid, even providing Overwatch. The Evil Eye on its own. Brian, my man, will find the last 2 as DarkZero kind of out of options in that situation. All shut down as DarkZero put themselves on match point.
That run out from the Jaeger wasn't going anywhere. Your position given away at that point. And it was a great recovery from OrgLess after things looked like they were starting off well. They kind of stalled. They made the transition. And because you didn't have any plant denial, you don't have a C4 available to you, you don't have anything to be able to put pressure on the attackers in terms of a smoke canister or anything along those lines, it was very easy for OrgLess to just hang on to that main lobby and realize that DarkZero's pieces on the chessboard weren't in any position to be able to put you in checkmate. So with that said, running the gamut through the 3 original sites on Consulate, keep in mind that Taylor's Archive site was added just a couple months back. It doesn't see a lot of play. So the original 3 sites that used to be the only sites available on Consulate have all been played out. DarkZero will go back to the only site that they were able to win on, which was Consulate upstairs and Console Office up top. And like I said, it was an interesting round. Last time we saw it, OrgLess played it kind of sloppy on yellow stairs, very nearly threw away the advantage that they had, but then ended up pivoting, turning around quite well into a position where the plant goes down, and then Nyx saves the day by just, like I said, sheathing that shield and then pulling out the pistol, or that SMG rather, that 2-burst SMG, and getting the frags they needed. I think the big question here for OrgLess is how quickly can you clear out the eastern half of the map? If I'm OrgLess, I would put a lot of pressure on admin, try to simply cut off the connector. Whoever's going to be playing inside a projector, focus on them, keep control of printer and hold a long angle, and then force the rest of DarkZero to try and take an engagement. But it's very likely, given the success that OrgLess had prior to it all falling to pieces on yellow stairs, that their push will come along those console office windows, and it will be, once again, a yellow push. That's what it appears to be shaping up for here, very early on.
I'll actually have to correct myself there. I said DarkZero on map and match point. Incorrect, by the way.
Yes, that's okay.
Yeah.
Very close to match point.
Yes, there are 5. OrgLess, though, fairly impressive that they're putting up those 4 rounds on the board. So just trying to take down that default cam, and then we'll get shot down. Yeti again. Honestly, we've been seeing a ton of this where the Ash will come in and clear the bottom side before moving up, and it's pretty good. It usually allows you to have a lot of map control, at least being sure that there's no one going to be playing from below against. My man just using the buck up on the skylight to open up as much as humanly possible, potentially time for a grenade on here the UMP in the back from Trojan. So, unfortunately, the buck. So fall back for just a second. The flash in, they try to time it correctly with him. The grenades is dropped, and will it do damage? Yes, it will, but not really enough to down Pojo Man. It's crazy. Actually find him and take him out. So all things considered,
bomb located by attackers.
Yellow control as well was what OrgLess needed. They were at the bottom floor, just looking up from the vending machines. They have Mint playing in the same position for DarkZero at the very top of yellow stairs, and one of the smokes from Hot and Cold will go out just to try to at least delay OrgLess's advance. All things considered, probably smart usage of that utility for the smoke, especially if it was being used to cover a flank, or to cover a rotate rather. And it actually appears that the smoke has now moved into the closet and is occupying a similar position to where Pojo was. Han's been down, will get picked back up. I don't know if that was a deliberate reset or if just good crossfire from OrgLess were able to take a huge chunk of his life away. But that also looks like it's completely taken control from DZ's hands on yellow stairs. The glass is pushing on upwards. Mint is far back in bathroom trying to cover. Brian takes out Nyx. And this is shaping up extremely well for DarkZero. But look, oh! Hot and Cold picks up 2, looking for a 3rd, but he turns away. Oh, second, a 4th, a 5th! Line him up, knock him down. Hot and Cold takes 4 on yellow stairs. And Brian on the roof says, well, what the hell do I do now? Standing there, just waiting. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. Brian, hello, are you there?
They can't kill you up here, Brian.
What are you gonna do, Brian? Are you gonna just simply wait it out?
Give him the ace.
He
Oh,
won't. This is
save the op.
The disrespect to
10
not
seconds to
get
go.
hot and cold the ace.
man.
Brian will just sit upstairs and save, which doesn't mean
5
anything.
seconds
But
remaining.
There we go. He's back. I can't believe he's actually doing
Operators,
it.
you're out of time.
Honestly, I have to not only do I want to put it on the fact that the smoke realized exactly when to move up and contest yellow stairs, but twice 2 players from OrgLess walk up yellow stairs, and what do? They look up the same angle on the same position.
I just don't think, the Ash in particular, of Yeti, I don't think in any universe was he predicting that the smoke would have gotten even more aggressive and pushed from the landing down towards the bottom of yellow stairs.
But both watching the same angle?
That was a bit of a misplay. And I would imagine that after the 2-piece came out from Houghton, there was likely a mess of comms that absolutely cleared that over. Now, that round aside, because
Attackers need
almost
to
all of the
locate and
action
defuse
happened
as many
in
bombs as they
one
can.
area, that looked like a round that OrgLess was not going to lose, but Hot and Cold gets 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. Has done a couple things. As a demoralizing loss for OrgLess, first and foremost, but DarkZero have just netted themselves, at worst, a draw. That's 1 point. That's important because they're still trying to keep pace with Reciprocity in second place, who they lost their second place spot to last play day. But Reciprocity and EG played today. And if those teams
10 seconds
draw,
left before
a
insertion.
victory here for DarkZero could put us in a 3-horse race for that top
5 seconds to go.
and be massive for DZ's fortunes as we get towards the end of this
Cover the
season,
bomb diffuser.
or at least the
Attackers'
first half of
objective is
it.
to locate a bomb and defuse it.
But it also allows them to try and maximize their point value, because if EG wins that, okay, fine, that Reciprocity loss is your gain. If Reciprocity wins, then once again we find ourselves in a position where all 3 teams would be tied with very similar points. So, very difficult for OrgLess over the next 2 rounds. Might be the final round here, depending on how it gets played out. OrgLess is going to bring lots of fragging potential. Everybody in the Twitch, obviously, 2 very good guns. Everybody else is going to be about the same. And DarkZero
bomb has been
obviously
located.
cannot go back to console office. They're going to put Pojo back on that smoke, and Hot and Cold will go on the anchor play here. Very interesting the way that they have been doing this for DZ.
Yeah, very true. I'm very curious as to where Mint is going to be playing around. Jarvis actually opens things up and then checks. Okay,
Defender is
no
approaching
information
the kill
given,
zone.
and he'll
Defender
find an
has
easy
been
tap.
discovered.
My man, yet again, is the first one to fall. You lose the buck. It's a lot of potential soft breach here has been taken down, but it does not stop OrgLess from doing their job, which is take control of the piano and destroy any of those bandit batteries, pesky ones that are set on the door. Instantly shot down. Garage wall's been opened. Kill be dead.
Jarvis is in another position now to go for a run out if at some point it presents itself.
A really big fucking hole!
Opportunity for Brian to open up these garage panels as well, as the first one has been opened up, and now the second one will be too, which allows OrgLess to just utility dump in through the 2
Bomb
open
located by
panels.
attackers.
Both Mint and Jarvis are playing above and can possibly come down to that first floor at any given point. They will likely need to, as one of the most pivotal anchors for DarkZero has been taken out by Yeti. Here's the big problem. Yeti's going to be looking for a second. Jarvis just goes on by. He sees the Zofia. He'll get the kill. Yeti's too late to the party, and Jarvis will spoil it by taking out Crazy, leaving Brian and Acid to take control of the site.
Attackers are active.
It'll work out, though. But Brian from
Defenders
above
have
taking
located
quite a bit of damage. Mint unsheaths the C7 and takes out Yeti. Brian falls as well, and Acid will be in a 2v1. As a Glass, not exactly the position you want to find yourself in, especially in a post plan, as the diffuser, yet again, goes down. Acid playing by the car, about to engage in a long-range fight. Keep in mind that there is an ACOG in the hands of Maestro, but 2 bodies, and that'll be all she wrote.
Defender has
DarkZero,
left
what
designated
improvement of
Defender is
fortunes.
exposed.
As Mint will finish off Acid, get his kill, and then Hot and Cold has plenty of time to be able to grab the diffuser as well. That's a heartbreaker for OrgLess after they come so
Defenders
close on a
disable the
number of
diffuser.
rounds, but great
Defenders
individual
win.
performances from DarkZero will end up being the story, and DZ will win it 7-4.
Yeah, and I have to say, at that final round, if you're watching now and you're wondering how did the Glass get shot, well, he was standing behind the car, and what is below the car? There's an open space, unfortunately for him in that position, which allowed the defenders to very wisely shoot into the feet of the Glass. And then, you know, why would you shoot a man's feet? Well, when you want to win the round, that's what you got to do, and the Glass got taken out. That was right at the end. And You know, you can see Hot and Cold, Apoja, and even Jarvis, and basically everybody from DarkZero putting up kills on the board. Just not the thing for OrgLess in this situation, as a lot of their rounds were won off of, you know, either time or opportune kills that they had. Not so much the team play where everybody was doing their fair share in a round. And again, the biggest focus in Siege and competitive play is not the kills that you put on the board.
Right.
However, it cannot be understated that when you're basically killing everybody else on the other team, you're gonna have an advantage.
Yeah, a team that can't frag at all is going to have problems no matter what. It's just that individual performances based upon a kill-death ratio is not a good judge necessarily.
Cost is a pretty good one.
You look at Hot and Cold, for example, finished with 12 kills. 4 of them came in a round-stealing performance, which means that his other 8 kills, they came spread out quite evenly. Jarvis putting up 7 kills, very quietly, I would say. Overall, DarkZero, they all pulled their weight. I think everybody showed up quite well there. Pojo had a couple great moments, came very close to a clutch too. But then on OrgLess' side of things, Crazy, a massive standout performer. And on the other side, unfortunately, a standout performer was my man, but for all the wrong reasons.
Unfortunately, in that position, he stood out a bit too much, which is why he got shot down and gunned down so many times during these rounds. Usually the first man to go down. And, you know, you're putting this player on operators that provide a lot of utility. You saw him on the Buck, for example, on the attack. You know, a Legion or a Pulse as well on the defense. That's a lot of utility in play. And if you get shot down early on, that's all lost. These are operators that shine in very big positions. Let's say you're playing the Buck. You haven't taken Piano yet. You don't have any top-down control. It's a problem. OrgLess at the end there in that final round, I really want to highlight the fact that they kind of neglected the top floor completely. Even though they had already droned out and realized that there's a Vigil, realized that there was a Valkyrie as well on the top floor, yet did nothing about it. And just very smart from Jarvis to be like, oh, I'm just going to open the door and go for a kill. And he opened it, nobody reacted, because guess what? All of OrgLess were on the other side of the map, and then he went out and got a freebie.
Yeah. That round in particular, at the very final seconds, when the plant goes down, OrgLess managed to get the plant down,
Which is pretty good.
with 2 members of DarkZero still sitting in Piano. The Zofia gets taken out by Jarvis, and then Mint is still up there on the Vigil to do some damage onto Brian after that plant goes down, and then Acid isn't able to do a sufficient job of covering. And Yeti pushes Piano way, way, way too late, and that push needed to come a lot sooner on. And Yeti clearly hesitated. When you got the F2 in your hands, and you know that there's one body up there, try to take the fight. Even if it is a Vigil, even if it is a Valkyrie, you're going to be in a good position to at least try and distract. Anywho, we have an interview ready with DarkZero. We'll ask them their thoughts on that matchup and everything that happened involving them versus OrgLess. We'll bring it up for you here. Nix, I think this is my first time interviewing you so far this season. I don't think you guys have ever won when I've been casting, so congratulations. It's nice to see you.
Thank you.
First things first, 11 rounds were played. 9 diffusers go down. What happened?
I think the glass play on them, like when they were running glass against us, I just think it kind of caught us off guard. They obviously 6-picked it the first round, and I'm pretty sure we ended up winning that round regardless. That's when I got the double kill with Clash. But I guess the glass play just kind of threw us off for a little bit. We were getting, like, our smokes were just getting picked and just like stuff like that. Mistakes on our part, and you know, OrgLess executed with the glass pretty well. So.
Now, when you were attacking, you got the diffuser down in all but 1 round. How much of that was deliberate? How much of that was your read in-game at the time of saying, hey, we have a great opportunity to get this plant down, let's go for it immediately?
We just kind of feel out the game. So if we're doing a side execute and we feel like we should just be killing, you know, fragging out and not getting bombed down, just keeping our guns up, then we'll just do that. Typically, it's a call from Mint. He'll either just say, you know, frag out or see if you can get bombed down. So a lot of the time, I'm pretty sure it was like 1 piano round where me and Mint just went upstairs. We killed their guy playing CEO, and then we dropped because we knew the other guy was playing meeting side. So Mint had some, you know, excellent IGL skills this game. He was making really good calls for us and stuff that allowed us to make plays on throughout the entire game. So.
There was one call in particular that I wanted to ask you about. It was the one where it was a 2v2 and you were attacking Garage. Diffuser was down over towards yellow. You went for frags. Deliberate call or just simply miscue and not being able to grab the diffuser in time?
So what happened was Jarvis actually vaulted over the railing, hoping that he would pick up the bomb, and he ended up just not, like, I guess the UI or just like his model just did not clip the bomb at all, and so the call was just to go for frags at that point because we had no control of the diffuser. So and there was only like 4 seconds left. We weren't going to be able to rotate fast enough to grab it.
Last question. OrgLess is known as an extremely aggressive team, peaking things on defense that you don't anticipate and being very aggro on attack. We are currently in the midst of a meta, sort of, that is extremely aggressive in and of itself. There are teams taking peaks that are very uncharacteristic of teams that are more reserved. How do you prepare for a team like OrgLess when you're heading into this, knowing that they tend to do things on the fly and can be very hard to pin down?
So with stuff like that, it just comes down to like us knowing when to keep guns up and when to get those plants down, like we were talking about earlier. So a lot of the time they're gonna be taking fights, peeking angles that they really shouldn't be peeking. So the reason that they catch people off guard is because their guns are down. If you just keep your guns up at all times and you're trading effectively, then you're obviously you're gonna finish up the map pretty strong. I felt like we had a really strong attacking side. We made a few mistakes, and in my opinion, we should have had all 6 attacking rounds if we just level out those mistakes and just keep our guns up more and just talk more as a team. That's a 7-0 in my opinion.
Well, it's a big victory for you today, and on top of that, you got your 2 arch rivals, the 2 people above you in the standings, squaring off later on. I'm sure you'll be watching that match quite keenly. Anything to say? Any parting words at the end of the interview?
I just want to say, of course, thank you to all our fans. We appreciate all the support that you guys have. We're just going to keep focusing on ourselves and seeing what we can do throughout the rest of the season. So,
excellent. You got 1 game left. Best of luck finishing out the first half of the season. Thanks for the interview.
Thank you, Intaro.
Thanks.